Hey journalistas, this is Creative Nana here. Sorry about my setup. Have little few things going on around the house, so I had to improvise. You can even see my Coke box over to the side, ready to cut up for cardboard. But welcome to the July Family Rack. And usually Dorcas does these, but this month she's given me the opportunity to see what I can come up with and do. We've discussed. But we've talked about it, and we're going to do Family Rack just a little bit different. If you can think back, those who've been participating since the beginning, on week 1 and week 2, there were videos posted within the event of Dorcas's examples of journals and an altered book journal that I had done. And the whole thing we were thinking about with Family Rack, and the way Melody was thinking, was that for us to build a journal of our family memories. I know some of you aren't using them as family racks, and that is perfectly fine. But so we're thinking about doing a little thing to connect it with those journals. Feel free to go back and look at those videos. Dorcas has one, and then I've got one. If you can't find them, just make a comment in the event post, and we will link those up for you, okay? So this is what we're calling this week, July Build a Page Family Rack. We're not just focusing on one element, we're focusing on a page. And of course, a page is 4 sides. Please ignore the dogs. I have to record out here around them. And yes, they're 4 little nippies. 3 of them old, so they just might start barking. I'll try to pause and go from there, but not sure if it'll work. I can't edit, by the way, FYI. I broke my tablet, so I cannot edit anything. So I am just flying by the seat of my pants here, and things will, But I do not claim to be a professional. Now, when we talk about a page, it can be anything. Because that is actually step 1 of this rack, or step 2 of this rack. I'll tell you step 1 in a minute, is to find a page that you want to do and decorate it up. So I just pulled out a few different examples. Like this is just plain old cheap copy paper that I sort of played around with some of my dies and things that I had made. And I was like, oh, I can make a cool background with that. It's even got a little glittery in there. I used some glitter, some sparkle paint. Add color. Here's another one, just plain old copy paper. A little bit different technique on how I got the things. This was sent to me by a friend. She did a collage page. And the inside is plain, which she can build on, and she built it on cardstock. That's a page. You can use from magazines pages and build from there. So the first thing that you're going to do is find a page. What do you want to do your page on? But we are suggesting just a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet of page folded in half. But of course your journals might be different size, and you will have to, go from there. So that is one thing you need to do. Now, the thing that's going to be a little bit different, we're going to incorporate items that you have already learned to do during the family racks. If you haven't participated in every one of them, they are all there in the events. Just scroll up, go to the events, and scroll up to past events, and you can go back to the other months. We've got April, we've got May, and we've got June. There's 3 other ones that are in there. I think we made belly bands, altered paper clips, and a picture waterfall. It was last month. So we're going to sort of be incorporating some things like that and going from there. Now, you're thinking, well, that's going to be expensive to mail. No, actually, it's not. Depending upon how heavy your materials are, you can mail it in a greeting card envelope for 70 cents or $1.20 standard USA mail. I don't know about international, so I apologize for that. But I mail out a lot of things, and I pretty much got this down, and my daughter has got a business where she mails things out. So we've sort of got this tweaked, and I talked with her, and from my experience and hers, that's about what it's going to cost. But you will see on the instruction list, the very last step, step 6, says, pick at least 2 elements you made during this family rack, or feel free to send the whole page. So you can play with it, as long as you're sending at least 2 elements. Now here's the tweak. your elements. You're not going to know what all your elements are. Once a week, Dorcas or I will release within the comments the next thing you're going to make and what you use to make it. I'll start, of course, this week, the step, find a page and decorate it up. So, that's step 2 is find your page and decorate it. Step 1 actually says go through your house on a scavenger hunt and source your materials to use. We are actually making this rack with free or basically cheap materials, things we can find around the house. If you do not have a big stash, this is the rack event for you, and you create a 4-page layout. I'm going to be sharing some of my tips, and hopefully there's some of our members out there that have some tips of their own. So feel free to comment in the event tabs if you've got some tips for everybody. For instance, I'm going to show you my favorite in just a minute, but remember, just a little piece of bling. You can add bling to your stuff. It's not big, it's small. You probably got some from Happy Mail. You might have anything. Clothing. Clothing is a great way to source. If you're like me, you ruin your clothing all the time with spots and you can't get them out and you're like, what do I do with this? Well, you've got buttons on there. You've got collars. You've got really neat sometimes lining, the color, the fabric. Don't just toss it. Cut it up. Maybe I can do a video sometime in the DIY Challenger thing that we've started. Sourcing from clothing to help you out there. Okay, my number 1 favorite thing, and this is what we've suggested with it, to go look around your house, find junk mail. That includes magazines you get in the mail, sales bills, envelopes, bills, anything. Source your junk mail. The colorful, the better. Look for material scraps. This is a chance to gather up all those scraps of paper, the things that you've made from other things. What do you save those little pieces? This is the event you're going to use it in. But my book pages. These are just some old book pages that I think I got for 10 cents. Salvation Army was having 10 cents book sale, so I bought a bunch of books. And this one happens to be from a children's encyclopedia. And it is from the 70s, I think. So it's very old pages, very thick. But lots of color, and I've already ripped them up here. I've got some maps that came from there. Just things. So that's great for collaging, great for clusters. I am a big proponent of children's books. You might be seeing some more of that from me, how to use children's books in your journals. I love using children's books. Children's books are basically free because people buy those for their kids, and they are all over the place. Okay, my number 1 favorite thing to source from. Magazines. I suggest, I'm just showing you sort of a little, you're seeing a bin that I'm working from right now. Look at that. I love that. Came from a magazine. Well, guess the light behind. I can't really get my light. It's dark. Sorry. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I was supposed to have this done this week. My body crashed on me. Then when I went to record earlier this evening, I just couldn't. My body gave out again. I'd done too much today. Look at there. Amelia Earhart picture. Isn't that awesome? For a magazine. All kinds of things. Let me get up underneath here. You can look in here. I've got trims. Even something as small as this cut off. I can use it as an accent. Little camper. These are the kind of pictures I use in my family rack events because I don't use actual pictures. All my pictures goes to family members. I really don't keep them, and what I do have is on my phone. I don't really print them out. I'm not that old, but, well, I'll be 50 this year, so I guess I am getting old. But that's okay. Even sorted some junk acetate from that. But magazine. My number 1 favorite magazine to go to your thrift stores. Salvation Army is a great place. So go to your thrift stores and find, you might have them around your house, scrapbook magazines. They are the best. You know the ones that have the page layouts on them? You know how many things that you can find in a scrapbook magazine? Just here, I've got a thing going on here. Look at that page. I love that. One card, 5 ways, but yet that can be used within a journal. All kinds of stuff. This is just one of my magazine cutouts that I've got. Ready to go. I'm going to show you. This is some envelopes. These are, I guess, coin envelopes? I don't know what you would call them. But, see, that one's just a plain little coin envelope, a plain little envelope. Stick on the page. Look, you can tell it's made from an old book. I took out all the images in the book I wanted to use. I do not throw anything away. No matter how small it is, I use it. I am a very frugal crafter. It's not that I don't have money to spend, but if I can craft for free, or I will accept anything less than $1 or for free to use as my craft supplies, and that's it. And if I can do that, then that money can be spent on my kids and my grandkids. Okay? I'll be honest with you. That's where my priority is, after God. Sorry if that offended anyone. But look at this. Simple. That's all magazine. I think they're adorable. This is from a Peter Rabbit magazine, or Peter Rabbit book that I used the words, and then I had that. But just, I mean, it can go simple. It can go that. You want something very simple. I want to, because I'm going to do some kind of sunflowers. I mean, it's unlimited. This one I added a little, you know what that is? That is the strings from that I pulled off around some satin material that I was making flowers from. Christmas envelope. This right here is a cut off of different papers that are for sale. But look how neat that looks. You'd never really guess unless you know. But I'm not going to show you all these, but just sort of give you an idea. That was just something I did one night. That's one of my little fabric flowers that I made. Added to it, just add a little something. But magazines, scrapbook magazines are the best. Now I have to share this because this is my pride and joy before I go on to sort of explain a little bit more and then we'll close out. Now I've got more elsewhere, but this is basically all my words. I do have other words. I'll be honest, I have 2 things from Tim Holtz over here I got. I decided to break down. Yes, I spent over $1. They were $4.99 a piece. But I got them because everybody kept talking about them. Thought I'd try them. So I rationalized $10. These are all my words that I got from magazines and some book pages. Some of them are already prepped. Some are not. As you can see, these are larger. I've got some larger ones that I enjoy, that I like. Look at that little giraffe on it. It says Close Encounter. Wouldn't that make an awesome tag to go on a tag? Do some jelly printing or some staining on the back. This one, He Loves Her. Create Your World. I mean, come on. There's all, I mean, it is unlimited what you find in these magazines. But I wanted to show you some that I prepped. And I use these, as you can see, I've already cut some off. I go through, and on my smaller words, I use index cards. Cheap index cards from the Dollar Tree. It's not real thick. The ones from Dollar Tree are a little that. Look, treats, share and tell, imagine, create. Messy, sparkly, touchy, feely, snazzy ways. I've got these glued onto index cards. That way, I can go through. This came from a book, Juxtapose. I just love that word. I don't know when I'll use it. Budding ideas. What if you made an ATC card? You know, the one that we did this past month, our ATC club, the first one on gardens. Look at there, budding ideas. Wouldn't that have been cute on there? So, there's my blank ones I've got in there. All kinds. Glow. Never-ending bounds. Then I take individual letters, because sometimes you want just letters to decorate. Now, I can continue to fussy cut these. I can cut around. I can distress them, even though I'm not a distresser. I'm not a fan of distressing. You can do whatever. Full of attitude, free-spirited, a bit extreme. You know, there's all kinds. Cut them apart. This is a great way to source words. Why spend all that money printing out, buying words, when they're right there for you? This is a book. It was called Fairy Children. Another one I think I got for 50 cents or 10 cents in one of those sales. And it was up here is a picture of the actual flower. I've already cut the flowers up, but I saved the little word skunk cabbage with a little thing. Wouldn't that be neat in the back when I'm layering and adding, skunk cabbage? But anyway, that's my favorite thing ever. Source, that's your week one. Source, or step one. Source your materials. Go through your house, go on a scavenger hunt, and start sourcing your materials of what you want to use. As far as your background page, you can also stamp it, stencil it, do a glue thing, collage it. Get creative, but this week work on finding what do you want to use for your page after you source your materials and decorate your background up your page. You're not doing final decorations, you're just doing the background. Like I said, if I choose to do something like this, I've already got background. Okay? Maybe you want to do that. Give you an excuse to get out some paints and dyes and start playing. Maybe you don't. One of the things, then we're going to release that step one, step two. You will see step three released in the comments probably sometime this next week, towards the weekend, because it shouldn't take you that long. Sorry. It shouldn't take you that long to get your page done. And we will release what item you're making and what some of these items you find around your home to use. Like I said, sorry about the setup and the videoing, but see you later, journalistas. Have fun doing the family rack, and you will hear from Dorcas and myself, I promise, all this month during this rack.